Hey, welcome to my my little channel here. Alright, today we are going to be discussing the breakdown and the putting back of a single action pistol. And the pistol that we have today on the table is going to be an FIE 22 long rifle, model number E as in Echo, number 15. Okay, and so we're just going to kind of go through the short little process here of showing you how to break this thing down and get it back together, and show you a little bit how to clean this stuff and just kind of go from there. Okay, I apologize for all the open space here. I can't get my camera to adjust to get it here, so sorry for all the extra stuff here. You got to have a bobblehead when you're doing something like this. Okay, alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Alright, now first of all, we're going to think about safety. Every time we deal with the weapon, we need to make sure that it is unloaded. So many accidents have, quote unquote, accidents have happened with people that has assumed the weapon is unloaded. Okay, so we need to go ahead and verify that this thing is unloaded. Ooh, look at what we have here. This thing is loaded. Alright, so first of all, before we get started here, I'm going to go to the safety features of this weapon. And the safety features of this weapon, we have a hammer block, which is right here. Now it is in the up position. Okay, now I'm not going to show you the inside because it's loaded. Once we break it down, I will show you, but I just want to show you how this thing works. So we have the blocking mechanism. So this is in the up position. Okay, this is in the up position. So what this is doing, there's a metal rod that goes across that is blocking, as we can see here. The hammer is not touching the firing pin at all. So when you cock this back and you move this thing down, all of a sudden you take away that blocking. So now the hammer will rest against the firing pin, so it could actually cause the weapon to discharge. So let's go ahead and break this thing down. Okay, so what we have here, we need to rotate this cylinder a little bit. Okay, get this thing rotated a little bit where we can get those shells out. Now this is a 6-shot. Okay, so what we need to do, we have a shell extractor which is built in to the pistol. Okay, so what we need to do is turn around. It's got that there, so we need to get one. That's one shell. Okay, rotate this thing around. Come on, this thing wants to be aggravating today. Okay, rotate it and get it. No, shell number 2. Okay, shell number 3, shell number 4. Ooh, that one on the floor. Shell number 5, and shell number 6. Okay, now let's find. All right, thing blends in with the carpet here. Okay, I see it now. Alright, let's get this thing covered here. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, now, so now we got all 6 shells. Okay, we'll get those out of the way. Alright, so what we want to do, we want to open this side loading chamber. Okay, that's going to play a part in this thing sliding out, because as you can see, the gears and everything within the cylinder has to come out through this way here, so that's going to play a part. Try to keep your finger when we start to slide the cylinder out here, because that's going to keep the cylinder from falling out and rolling on the floor and possibly hitting your foot. Okay, like I've done it one time before. Alright, so what we need to do is that this single action pistol, and pretty much all of these are about the same, is that we have this lever. I can show you here. We have this little lever that is right here, this little button, and so that pushes in. And so what we need to do is push that in and then pull that out. Okay, now this rod here goes all the way through the cylinder, and then it rests back here, and it keeps that, so that's what that cylinder kind of rides on. Okay, so we're going to pull that all the way out. Okay, and we'll get that out of the way. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, we want to rest and bring that out here. Okay, just like that. Okay, all right, So now this is basically the basic breakdown. Now we could go further, take the grips off if you're going to clean this thing, but we're not going to go through all that way. Okay, but when you're cleaning this thing, guys, you want to make sure that you're cleaning all around the barrel here. Okay, getting all that where the burnt and the soot and everything from the black powder, you want to get all that cleaned out. Clean this area back here with a nice brush and cleaning fluids. Okay, making sure you got this area here. As you can see, you got the I don't know if you can tell or not, that rotates the cylinder of this part right here. Okay, then you got the area that is back here. Okay, that ratchets the gears that are back here, and that's what makes dog hair here. Well, I don't know where we get a dog hair from our dog on the pistol here. Okay, so the back part, let's see if we can get it here. I can show you better. Okay, you see that part that is moving up and down. That is actually what causes the cylinder to rotate when each time you fire it. Okay, so very intricate weapon that they engineered this thing back in probably the early 1800s. Very long way that has came along. Okay, so as we had spoke about the safety mechanism, this particular weapon has the hammer block. So when you cock the hammer back, okay, let's see if we can get it rotate here. When you cock the hammer back, as you can see, we have that little block that is right here. Okay, and that block, what that does is that covers the firing pin. So when it's down, now there's nothing that is keeping you from hitting that firing pin. So actually, what could happen? This actually has happened quite a bit. Not with me, but let's say some pistols that don't have a hammer block. Let's say you're, back in the day and even, recent times, you're handling this thing and boom, it drops like that. It drops on the hammer. What can happen is that the weight, because this thing probably weighs quite a bit, it'd be enough to cause the cartridge to discharge. And when that thing drops, that's enough to hit that firing pin, and that firing pin is enough action to cause that thing to strike the back of the bullet and then cause it to discharge, and people's actually got killed that way. So this was a very good invention that somebody came up with, a hammer block. Now some people don't like kind of safeties like that, but if you're working with these firearms and you get to know your firearm, it's going to become second nature. So that won't be much of a hassle. Okay, so that is basically it. You just want to clean all this stuff. Now, when you're cleaning your cylinder, you want to make sure that you got your brush. Let's say if this was a cleaning brush, you want to make sure that you're brushing, each one of these cylinders and getting all that junk out. But then again, come back here with the brush. And you're cleaning stuff, then clean this area, because what happens is that when this thing fires, all that pressure is coming out from the side of the cylinder and it's blowing back, and over time it builds up this crud back here. And then what happens is, besides your cylinder, your cartridge resting flat like that, what happens over time, what happens is that all that crud would cause, as you can see, it would cause that cartridge not to quite sit flush, and that can actually cause it to misfire, misalign, or probably cause the firing pin to get bent because it's not hitting the cartridge flat. And then it may cause the cartridge, because when these things fire, what happens over time, these things will expand, and if it's not sitting there flush, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of wiggle here, and it could cause that thing to expand where you can't get this shell out rapidly. Let's say if you was using a weapon like this for home defense, and that thing, and your weapon wasn't cleaned, and then that thing caused it to expand, and then all of a sudden now when you're trying to do a fast reload, you can't, it's like, man, it's not ejecting that cartridge, because that cartridge has expanded in there, and it's going to take a hard time. You know, those few seconds could be a matter of life and death. Okay, so always try to keep your guns clean. So like I said, we had in the Army, if you take care of your weapon will take care of you. If you fail your weapon will definitely fail you. Okay, so always try to keep your weapon clean. So that's basically it on the disassemble. So let's do a reassemble. Okay, so reassemble, we're just going to reverse the process. Okay, we want to open our loading port here. Okay, we want to take the gear side and put it in here. As we can see, it's got this little cutout. Okay, and what that thing does is that it needs to slide right inside there. Okay, so, and then pull you, because what happens is, you can't see it, but what happens is that get my big finger out. What happens is that cylinder is hitting on that pin right there. Okay, so what happens is that come here and cock it back a little bit, because what you also have to do, you have to move these here out of the way, and then I'll get back here, and then you have to move, get my big fingers, doing this is trying like driving a boat and explaining it. But then again, you got your other points of contact. So what you have to do, you have to bring that hammer back just ever so gently there. Okay, so come here, we got it lined up. Okay, so now it's kind of weeble wobble, so we can close that. Now I like to keep my finger right here, because when you tip that thing over, what you don't want this thing to do is to fall out. And you hear that thump, man, just think if that thing rolled off on the table and hit your big toe, make you want to scream like a little Girl Scout. Okay, so put that stuff in there, bring your hammer back a little bit, we can close that, we can keep our finger right here. Now when you're cleaning guns, you got to learn how to do two or three things with one hand, and this is one of these things. Okay, so as what I'm doing, besides holding the weapon, I'm actually kind of cupping this cylinder, if you will, to keep it from doing that number. So I'm having to kind of I feel the cylinder, what it's doing, but what I need to do is push that button right here, as we see the bevel side, and there's a hole right here. So what we want to do is push that button down. We're holding the weapon, we got it in a nice firm grip, we're keeping that cylinder from moving, and then I want to kind of finagle that cylinder and to guide that rod. There we go. Okay, so as the rod had slipped in there, what we want to do is that, as we can see, this little groove around this shaft right here, that pin needs to lock in. You'll hear it and you'll feel it. Okay, and so now it is locked back. Okay, so now all of that is being reassembled. Okay, so now what we need to do, we need to reload this thing. Okay, so we got our safety that is set on, and so what we need to do, see, the holes are not quite like, we could probably get a shell here, but what we need to do, we need to cock this thing back a little bit, and we need to rotate that thing just like that right there. Okay, we got that one. Okay, get my big fingers out of the way. We got that one here. Okay, it's kind of hard doing this on the camera, but you get the gist of it. And it's not rocket science to us, guys. I mean, man, they back in the Western days, they could do this stuff blindfolded, because back in those days, you live by your weapon. Okay. All right, so our safety is still on. So now she is ready to rock and roll. Hey guys, that is it basically in a nutshell on the FIE Model E15. And so, like I said, this particular type of weapon. I didn't talk about the ammo. We'll do that right quick. Let me unload one for you. Okay. Now, being the 22 long comes in different types of casings. Now, the casings what this is actually what is considered rat shot. It has like a little plastic bubble, and then you got like little small pin size bullets that are inside. Probably about 50 of those things that are in there, because they're not just in the head. They go down here as well. And so what we use this for is I use this for killing snakes and rats. And give me 1 second. I am trying to find. Normally I got a gazillion 22 bullets laying around, but now I can't find not near one. But I did find a 9mm. Okay. So, but this one here is considered what is called a rat shot. Or now this is a different type of caliper, but this is a 9mm. But this is what is referred to as a full metal jacket. Now this actually comes in a full metal jacket, or it can come with a hollow point, which has a hole in the center and for expansion. But 22s to me have always been a good weapon to take care of your rats and your snake problems that you have, because they don't over penetrate, and they're good within about 10 feet. And so they'll do what it needs to get done within that measure. Okay. All right. Well, folks, I hope that you liked this little presentation here. If you had, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and if you got any questions, I'll be more than happy to help you. All right. Well, this is JB, and we'll talk to you next time. And Godspeed and God bless. Thank you.